If your washing machine's not getting your clothes quite as clean as it used to, or you have a glass lid and you can see that the wash plate is moving with the entire basket, this is probably your fix. After we unplug the machine, we're gonna go ahead and take out the drain hose, and I always recommend disconnecting your inlet hoses. And that's just to make sure that we don't put any pressure on the lines, since we do need to lean our machine back to access the bottom. So the first thing that we want to do is get a 5/16 socket or a 5/16 nut driver, and we're going to remove these two screws that hold on the belt shield. Now that we have the shield out of the way, we're going to remove the belt. Removing the belt is very simple and doesn't involve any tools. You just want to make sure you don't pinch your fingers or anything. So you're going to pull down on the belt on one side, and then you're going to turn the pulley, and it's really just going to slip right off. Now I'm going to go ahead and grab a 1/2-inch socket and remove the bottom pulley. You don't have to do this, but for me to make the video clear for you to be able to see everything, I'm taking it off, and I just like to do it anyway because I'm going to inspect the teeth and make sure it's good. This is the part that we're actually looking for. This is the washer shift actuator. It's held on by 2 green screws. That's all that holds this thing on. I went ahead and unplugged it first. You should probably go ahead and leave it plugged in if you're going to be doing this one-handed like I am, but just make sure that you take both green screws out and the harness is unplugged, and that's how you're going to ultimately remove it all the way from the machine. And if you're not familiar with the washer shift actuator, this thing has just had bad news written all over it from the start. This little plastic arm, if this plastic arm is moving like this, then it's bad. This is how it's supposed to be on this one. See how it stays in place and doesn't move? These things are made out of plastic, and this is what, shifts your clutch when you have, 30, 40 pounds of clothes and water in a basket. It just doesn't make much sense to me. I'm going to link a part number down below so that way it makes it a little bit easier, but you're going to have 2 of them. That you might have a red one or you might have a black one. Just make sure you look at the part number. But this is the one thing that I tell everybody, do not cheap out on this part. Buy the OEM. It's a little more expensive, but you won't have to replace it as often. Now, even the OEMs do have some problems just because I think this was a not very well thought out design, or it was made to break on purpose. I don't really know. But the most important thing is to make sure you put the actuator arm inside the little loop on the splutch there. So, make sure everything lines up how you had it when you took it off. And then we're going to go ahead and put our lower pulley back on and tighten it down. This is the same exact thing as you did to take it off. So this is a it's actually a not very involved process. It's pretty easy. The main thing is what we do at the end. And not very long time ago, I used to hate these machines. I would not work on them. I wouldn't buy them. And now these are my absolute favorite almost, and I love them. So putting the belt back on is a little more tricky. We're going to go ahead and put it around the motor pulley and then just kind of put one side up a little bit on the lower pulley and just turn it. Just like when you used to put your bike chain back on your bike if you ever had to do that. But this is really simple. You don't need any tools to put it back on either. You don't have to stretch it out. It's super easy. It's just as easy as I'm making it look here. I promise you that. You won't have much trouble. Might take you, a time or two to slip it off and then slip it back on, but you'll get it. Then we're going to go ahead and replace our belt shield. Just line it back up with the holes and put the 2 5/16 screws back in, tighten it down, and that's all set for that. Now we can go back to the top of the machine and put it back flat on its feet. Just double check and make sure that everything's correct. Now, if you see here, our agitator, our wash plate is spinning like it should. So we have solved the problem. But the most important part is right here. This is how I do it. You don't have to do it like this, but I always spin it around a couple times clockwise and get it straight up and down on normal. Now we're going to spin it left, right, 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 left, right. And you have to do this within 12 seconds. Then all of your LED lights are going to light up, and you're going to rotate the knob clockwise until only rinse is lit up. I messed up there, so don't ignore that. So rinse is lit up. We're going to hit start. Now you're going to hear the lid lock, and then you're just going to sit back and let it do its thing. It might take 30 seconds. It might take 5 minutes, but let it do its thing until it completes and the lid unlocks, and now you're on your own to do all that backed up laundry. That's how easy it is to switch out an actuator. Not a super involved job, but if your clothes are not getting clean or your wash plate is not agitating separately from the tub, that is going to be your fix. Check it out. I'm going to put a link on everything you need in the description. Make it a little bit easier if that's the part you need to order. Just make sure if you have the red one or the black one. But anyway, thanks for watching, and see you on the next one.